Welcome to this presentation on tomatoes. Tomatoes are a healthy food and can be eaten in many delicious ways. Although they're normally thought of as a vegetable, tomatoes are technically classified as a fruit. The scientific name for tomato is Solanum lycophyllum. The tomato is a berry of a plant from the nightshade family and a native to South America. Tomatoes are usually red when mature. There are many subspecies of tomatoes with different shapes, flavors, and colors, including yellow, orange, green, and purple. Tomatoes are an important part of many cultures. They are staples in Mexico and used to make salsa, which Mexicans eat a lot. They'll even use unripe green tomatoes to make a green tomato salsa. Also, in Italy, tomatoes are very important to make sauce. Sauce is used in all the classic Italian dishes like pasta and pizza. So what is the best growing conditions for tomatoes? Tomatoes will need plenty of sun, water, and nutrient-rich soil. In Florida, the growing season for tomatoes is during the winter, but in Michigan, they're grown in the summer. Seeds should be started indoors 6 to 8 weeks before planting season, so they can be transplanted after the last spring frost when the soil is warm. Seedlings need to be hardened off for a week before they're planted in the ground. This is done by setting the transplant seedlings outdoors in the shade for a couple hours the first day, and then each day just gradually increasing the amount of time the plants are outside and increasing their exposure to direct sunlight. This just gets them used to the heat so that they don't just wilt in the hot sun when you plant them in the ground. When you plant a tomato, you should always put a cage or some sort of stake so that for the plant to grow on. It supports the plants and keeps the developing fruit off the ground. So growing tomatoes is a lot of work. All sorts of tomatoes and tomato products can be found in the grocery store. Tomatoes are sold in lots of different forms. You can find canned tomatoes, whole tomatoes, tomato paste, salsa, tomato soup, pasta sauce, pizza sauce, and so on. Fun fact is that most of the tomatoes, the fresh ones that you find in the grocery store, were actually picked when they were green, and then they were exposed to this gas called ethylene gas, which causes them to ripen off the vine. Fresh tomatoes, if they were picked red, they'll only last a few days on the counter and a little over a week at the most in the refrigerator. If you pick the tomatoes while they're green, like from your home garden, you couldn't put them in a paper bag and they will ripen on the counter in a few days. However, a homegrown, vine-ripened tomato has much better flavor. Fresh cherry tomatoes can be eaten whole or put in a salad. Larger tomatoes can be sliced, put on a burger, or cubed to put on tacos or a salad. So, what is the nutritional components of a tomato? Tomatoes are actually mostly water. Water content is about 95% in a tomato, and the other 5% consists of mainly carbohydrates and fiber. One medium-sized tomato, we're saying medium size is going to be about 123 grams. It would contain only 22 calories. Here's a chart showing the nutritional facts of an average 100-gram tomato. So, tomatoes are an excellent source of several vitamins and minerals. The top 4 vitamins and minerals in a tomato are vitamin C, potassium, vitamin K, and folate. Vitamin C is an essential nutrient and antioxidant. One medium-sized tomato can provide about 28% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin C. Potassium is an essential mineral and is beneficial for blood pressure control and cardiovascular disease prevention. Vitamin K is important for blood coagulation and bone health. Folate, B9, is one of the B vitamins that's very important for normal tissue growth and cell function, and it's particularly important for pregnant women. So, phytonutrients in tomato. The main plant compounds found in tomatoes are lycopene, beta-carotene, nitrogen, and colonic acid. Lycopene is a red pigment and antioxidant which has been extensively studied for its beneficial health effects. Beta-carotene is a yellow antioxidant which is converted into vitamin A in the body. Nitrogen is found in tomato skins. This flavonoid has been shown to decrease inflammation and protect against various diseases in mice. Chlorogenic acid is a powerful antioxidant compound which may lower blood pressure in patients. So lycopene. Lycopene is the most abundant carotenoid found in ripened tomatoes and is found in the highest amount in the tomato peel. Lycopene is a red carotenoid pigment, and it gives tomatoes their red color. The redder the tomato, the more lycopene it contains. Tomato products such as ketchup, tomato juice, tomato-based sauces are the richest dietary sources of lycopene and provide more than 80% of dietary lycopene in the United States. Interestingly, processed things such as ketchup contain more lycopene than a fresh tomato. There is 10 to 14 milligrams of lycopene in 100 grams of ketchup, whereas in a 100-gram fresh tomato contains only 1 to 8 milligrams of lycopene. Although the amount of lycopene in processed tomato products is often higher than in fresh tomatoes, it's still recommended to consume fresh, whole tomatoes whenever possible. Furthermore, consuming tomatoes with fat can have a strong effect on the absorption of lycopene from the digestive system, increasing absorption up to 4-fold. However, not everyone will absorb lycopene at the same rate. It just can vary based on the individual. Consumption of tomatoes and tomato-based products has been linked to many benefits regarding heart disease, cancer prevention, and skin health. So skin health. Tomatoes are considered beneficial for the skin. Tomato-based foods rich in lycopene and other plant compounds may protect against sunburn. A study showed that there were 40% fewer sunburns after ingesting 40 grams of tomato paste, which provided 100 milligrams of lycopene, with olive oil every day for 10 weeks. Consumption of tomatoes is thought to help prevent cancer. Observational studies have found links between tomatoes, tomato products, and fewer incidents of prostate, lung, and stomach cancers. The high lycopene content is believed to be the main reason for these protective effects, but high-quality human trials are needed to confirm this. A study in women shows that high concentration of carotenoids found in high amounts in tomatoes may protect against the development of breast cancer. Tomatoes are good for heart health and may prevent heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in Americans. A study in middle-aged men showed that low blood levels of lycopene and beta-carotene, which are found in tomatoes, are linked to an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. Increasing evidence from clinical trials shows that lycopene supplementation is effective in lowering LDL cholesterol. Clinical trials of tomato products have also shown benefit against inflammation and markers of oxidative stress. They also show a protective effect of the inner layer of our blood vessels and may decrease the risk of blood clotting. Alright, so I hope I've convinced you that tomatoes are good for you. Now let's look at some delicious ways to eat them. One of my favorite ways to eat tomatoes is tomato basil bruschetta. Here's an easy recipe that you can try. You just make a simple tomato topping. It's flavored with basil, and you put it on a toasted bread. And it's really good. I recommend that you try it. Here's a recipe that my family actually came up with for a really good homemade tomato sauce. We use fresh tomatoes, basil, onions, garlic, and green pepper, and other ingredients, all that come from our garden. It's pretty time consuming to make, so we usually make a really big batch, and then we'll ladle the sauce into jars and can it so we can have homemade delicious pasta sauce throughout the year. This easy cream and tomato soup is perfect for a cold day, and it only takes 35 minutes to prepare. Okay, so we've looked at a few ways to eat tomatoes. And to summarize what we've gone over, tomatoes are juicy, sweet, and full of antioxidants, and they may help to fight several diseases. They're especially high in lycopene, a plant compound that has been linked to improve heart health, cancer prevention, and protect against sunburns. So tomatoes are a valuable part of a healthy diet. And here's my sources.